Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Reftaco, and today we're back with another video in the season. It's almost here. Predictions, the videos that, kind of started, getting views finally, are back for another year. I'm very excited. As you can tell, I'm, smiling, because, it's predictions time. Yeah, we got all the games, all the scores. Yeah, let's just get right into it. We start off with Thursday night football, the opening game, the Ravens and the Chiefs. This one is in Arrowhead. The Ravens had a pretty good season last year. They were shut down by the Chiefs. And then they got Derrick Henry this offseason. They maintained a relatively similar team. Lost their defensive coordinator, which might be a little bit of an issue, but I think that they're fine. When you look at the Chiefs, they're running back about the same team. They didn't lose much. L'Jarius Sneed's going to be a big loss, but hey, if you've won 2 straight Super Bowls, there's no real need to change it up. I know that they're missing Hollywood Brown this game. I think that that's the only big injury. And so, yeah, with that being said, I think that these are 2 very great teams that are going to collide. And I think that the team that's going to come out on top is going to be the Baltimore Ravens, 27-24. Ravens beat almost any team that they wanted last year in the regular season. I mean, they beat the Niners by 21 in probably one of the Niners' hottest stretches. They beat the Seahawks 37-3, the Lions 38-6. They were just beating the crap out of teams. I think that the Ravens are just such a good regular season team that they can keep it going. And the Chiefs, they're a good team, but sometimes they start off slow. We saw it last year losing the kickoff game. So I think that the Ravens are going to go on top here. Then you move on to a very stupid game in Brazil. For no good reason, on a Friday, they put a game in Sao Paulo, Brazil, where you can't wear green with 2 green teams, and there's a bunch of wildfires around. Nobody wants to go down there, but they will. The Eagles and the Packers. When you look at the Eagles, it was not a good end to last season. Everybody knows that. I do truthfully believe that it was coaching and that we got the issue pretty much fixed. The Eagles also had a great offseason. Saquon Barkley, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, a couple other good pieces, Bryce Huff, Devin White, had a pretty good draft, I would say, especially at the DB position. No James Bradbury for this game, which is great. I like what the Eagles have built. When you look at the Packers, it's another thing. They were a super young team last year. I think that they're almost even a younger team this year, and they've built a really solid young core that I really do like. With that being said, both these teams, very good competitors in the NFC that they had to move this game down to Brazil for. So stupid. With that being said, the team that's going to come out on top is the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not going to pick against the Eagles, I think at all, unless if, the collapse that happened last season happens. The Eagles are, I think, built to beat a team like the Packers. They're just a very complete team. They'll be able to get the job done. I think late in games, they're going to be able to get the job done, and that's what they'll need to beat the Packers. Then you move on to the 1 o'clock games on Sunday with the Steelers and the Falcons. This game is in Atlanta. The Falcons had a very interesting offseason. They got Kirk Cousins. They still have Bijan at running back. They got Mooney, Rondale Moore, who's out at receiver. And then they stacked up that defense. Matthew Judon, Justin Simmons. I think that this is a very solid Falcons team. When you look at the Steelers, it's a pretty similar team. They lost Deontay Johnson, and they are getting Russell Wilson in there, quarterback, which I think will be a huge upgrade for that team. The Steelers, they're always in it because they're the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's just how they are. They're going to be 9-8. I can guarantee that. But with that being said, these are 2 teams we kind of need to learn an identity for. But I like the Steelers in this game. I have them winning 20-16. I think that the Steelers have gotten their rust out in the preseason. Also, Pittsburgh, I just think that they have a more complete team at this point. I think that they have better coaching. And I think that they'll be able to get the job done against Atlanta. Then you move on to the Vikings and the Giants. This game is in MetLife. The Giants are going to be wearing these horrible, it's like red, blue, crappy unis against the Vikings. When you look at the Giants are bad. They have Malik Neighbors. They have Deontay Banks. They have a good pass rush. Their defense is actually okay. They're not great. And their offense is bad. When you look at the Vikings, it's a big question mark with Sam Darnold at quarterback, but they built a pretty solid surrounding cast around him. Obviously, they don't have TJ Hawkinson for this game, but, you have Jefferson, you have Addison. I'm pretty sure you still have Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler, and they have a pretty solid defense. I like the Vikings in this game. I think most people do. I have them winning 26-13. Vikings are just a better team than the Giants, a more complete team than the Giants. And they'll be able to get this job done and hopefully make the Giants retire those awful uniforms. Then you got the Bills and the Cardinals. This game is in Arizona. When you look at the Cardinals, they're running back basically the team that they had at the end of last year. And at the end of last year, they showed some promise with Kyler in there. They beat some all right teams. They did something, and then also you're adding a very good receiver in Marvin Harrison Jr. Obviously, when you look at the Bills, they lost a lot of pieces. They lost Stephon Diggs, lost Jordan Poyer, lost Micah Hyde, lost Tre'Davious White, lost basically a lot of their defensive identity, lost Matt Milano to injury. And this team is going to be Josh Allen and whoever wants to catch the ball. That's going to be their identity. With that being said, I still like the Bills in this game. I still think that they will be a better team than the Cardinals. I have them winning 23-14. Cardinals, they might have something. They have, Trey McBride. I've drafted Trey McBride in every single one of my fantasy leagues. They have something there, possibly. I'm just going to take my more secure bet, I would say, with the Bills winning by 23-14. Then you got the Jags and the Dolphins. This game is in Miami. The Jags had a pretty good season at the start last year. It didn't end great, obviously. Started 8-3, they ended 9-8. Bit of a collapse. I think the only team that they beat was the Panthers. It was not a great end of the year for Jacksonville, and they didn't make much changes, specifically in the coaching staff. And really, the only thing that they kind of did was they got rid of Calvin Ridley, replaced him with, I guess, Gabe Davis, and I think they got Devin Duvernay, if that's going to help them on offense at all. And they got Brian Thomas. But the Jags, they're all right. When you look at the Dolphins, they always start off the season hot. It seems like the rust is usually out for them. I always like the Dolphins at the beginning of the season. Mike McDaniel has probably invented something that's going to break football for about 6 weeks. With that being said, I have the Dolphins winning this game 34-21. Dolphins always start off on a hot note. I think that they'll continue to do that. I just like the Dolphins winning this game. Then you got the Panthers and the Saints. This game is in New Orleans. The Saints they had a pretty good season last year, I would say. They were 9-8. They ended the season on kind of a high note. Their offense played pretty well. They had Rashid Shaheed, which was pretty fun to watch, and otherwise, Saints were pretty boring. When you look at the Panthers, last year was bad. It probably got a little better. You upgraded that offensive line quite a bit. You got Xavier Legette. You got Deontay Johnson. I think that Carolina is going to be a bit better of a team this year. I think that they're actually going to keep this game close. I do still have the Saints winning. Bit of a lower scoring 17-16 matchup. Saints just going to be able to edge it out on top. Because I just think that the Saints are just a little bit better of a football team. But I think that the Panthers will at least turn a lot of heads. Then you got the Titans and the Bears. This game is in Chicago. The Bears, obviously, adding Caleb Williams, added Keenan Allen, added Roma Dunze. They have added DeAndre Swift, has a really good offensive nucleus that they can build around. Defense, it was all right last year. I don't think that they lost much. On the other hand, when you look at the Titans, it wasn't a great team last year. A lot of people are kind of writing the Titans off. But the Titans had a really good offseason to get Calvin Ridley, to get Tony Pollard. Yes, you lost Derrick Henry. Henry was kind of aging anyways. I think that it's fine getting rid of Derrick Henry. I think that it's a great fit for a win-now team like Baltimore. I'm not sure that the Titans are that. To get those guys, get L'Jarius Sneed, get Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams at safety. Like, Titans, they got a lot better. And I think that the Titans are going to pull off the upset and win this game 20-18. Just a little blooper in there that the Titans are going to be able to sneak out on the Bears. Then you got the Patriots and the Bengals. This game is in Cincinnati. The Patriots, they were bad last year. Yeah, they were. They were pretty not great last year. On the other hand, the Bengals, they had a lot of hope going into last year. Kind of dwindled down because of the Joe Burrow injury. When you look at them this offseason, they got healthy. They didn't lose much, I'm pretty sure. I think that the Bengals, they're going to be a pretty good team this year. They do always get off to slow starts, though. And the Patriots, I think that they're a well-coached team. I actually really like the Gerard Mayo hiring, at least the idea of, easing one guy in. I think that the Patriots could pull this off. I think that, it's going to be one of these little crappy games that the Patriots could be able to sneak out with Jacoby Brissett. They do kind of have something there that at least you can hope is good. I mean, like Kendrick Bourne, maybe. I think that the Patriots win this game 16-13. I think that they're just going to be able to sneak this out. It's probably the biggest upset I'll pick all year, which week 1 you always see the craziest upsets. You always see every prediction video go 8-8 and stuff. So why not test it? Patriots win. You got the Texans and the Colts. This is in Indianapolis. The Colts, they had a pretty good year last year, at least compared to expectations. They had Gardner Minshew step in there, do pretty well. They're going to have Anthony Richardson back. Health is obviously a big concern for him, but his return, I think that he'll look pretty good. And the rest of their team, they fit in just fine. It's going to be a pretty good team for the Colts. The Texans, they're pretty much the talk of the league. Had a great year last year with C.J. Stroud, also very much overperformed expectations. They added quite a couple pieces. Obviously, Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon. On defense, they added Danielle Hunter. They added, I think, Van Ginkel. The Texans are a really good and a really hyped up team. Same with the Colts, I would say. Not exactly the hyped up, but I think that they're a really good team. It's going to be a great clash. I do think that I'm going to give the edge, though, to the Houston Texans. I just think that they're a little bit better of a team. And then you also see early in the year, the Texans are a kind of team that they will let the ball loose and win these games earlier. Running the ball kind of wins you games later in the season where the Colts could get them. But, yeah, I have the Texans winning this one 24-23. Super close, super competitive game. Then we kick off the 4 o'clock games with the Broncos and the Seahawks. This game is in Seattle. The Seahawks, I think that they could be a pretty good team this year. They have a pretty good core. Lockett, Metcalf, JSN, Geno, Kenneth Walker back there. I think that this could be a pretty good team in Seattle. When we look at the Broncos, they're going to have Bo Nix starting. It's a super young team. It's pretty inexperienced, I would say. They have a chance to do something. Defensively, they're not the worst team. I do think, though, that the Seahawks are better. They're going to come out. I think that they're going to perform really well. It's going to be 31-17 in favor of the Seahawks. Seahawks can come in early in the season and really beat up on teams with the way that offensive attack, when it works, it can be really effective. And you got the Raiders and the Chargers. This game is in LA. The Chargers they had a bad season last year. It seems like they're blaming it on Brandon Staley. They're getting Jim Harbaugh in there. He's going to run the ball down your throat. With that being said, they got rid of a lot of their offensive weapons. On defense, it's all right. You're running back the same team from last year that was supposed to be good. They weren't great. I think that they can be better. When you look at the Raiders, a lot of it resides on who is throwing the ball. I think Gardner Minshew is a fine quarterback. I don't get why people hate Gardner Minshew. Is he going to be great? No. But Gardner Minshew's Gardner Minshew. Like, he's going to be good enough with that kind of supporting cast around him. Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, all those guys. I do think, though, that the Chargers will come out on top pretty much just because they're the home team, and I don't know. I think that they're going to have a better chance to win 20-17. Yeah, that's why I pick every team to win, because they have a better chance to win. And at 425, it is the Cowboys and the Browns. This game is in Cleveland. The Cowboys, they had a pretty decent year last year. Dak and CD were the main culprits of that. Had a pretty solid defense. They did get rid of their running game in general. They're going to have two old men that haven't been good since the Obama administration run the football in Dalvin Cook and Zeke. Actually, Dalvin Cook has kind of been good recently. He just completely fell off last year. On the other hand, when you look at the Browns, it was a really solid team to end last year. You're going to get Deshaun Watson back. A lot is going to ride on him. You still don't have Nick Chubb, but I think Jerome Ford is just fine. With that being said, I do like the Browns in this game. They're at home. It's going to be a big atmosphere in the dog pound. I like the Browns 23-20. Brady's first game at Fox. I think that's going to end in a win for the Browns. Then you got the Commies and the Bucks. This game is in Tampa. The Bucks, they had a pretty good year last year. A lot of people seem to be forgetting about the Bucks because, you know, the Falcons made all these big moves. They had a pretty decent year, and they kept everybody that they need to keep. They signed just about every key player to an extension, which I don't always agree with. Like, if you're right here and, you know, you could be here, but the championship's here, don't try to stay right here. Get up here. But they're still going to be a pretty decent team. When you look at the Commies, they have a lot of uncertainty, I would say. I think that they have a good two-headed monster in that backfield. Jaden Daniels, he's going to have people to work with, at least in some sense. I think that'll go in there, do fine enough for a rookie. With that being said, I do think that the Bucks are going to get a win here. It's going to be 27-17 in favor of the Bucks. They're the better team. It's that simple. They have a better offense. They have a better defense. Might have a better special teams. Tressway is pretty good. Anyways, Bucks 27-17. Then it is Sunday Night Football. The Rams, the Lions. This game is in Detroit. When you look at the Lions, it's a very complete, it's a very gritty team. Everybody knows this. With Detroit, they're hard-nosed, and they get the job done really well. When you look at the Rams, they came onto the scene last year pretty surprisingly with Kyron and Puka, Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford, and they came in, they did really well. There's obviously a lot of storylines with this game. You know, all the ones they had the last preseason game with Stafford and all that stuff, and then also that they played in the last postseason game. I think it said preseason, postseason. But I do think that this is going to be a pretty close game. I think it's going to be an offensive-centered game. I think it's going to be high scoring, and I think that the team that's going to come out on top is the brand new Lions, 31-27. They're just going to find a way to win games because that's what the Lions do. That's what Dan Campbell does. You find a way to win the football game, and that's all that they need to do. And it is Monday Night Football. The Jets, the Niners. This game is in San Fran. When you look at the Jets, we don't know what to expect from their offense. Their defense is great. Their offense struggled last year. The main reason why is because your quarterback sucked. You have Aaron Rodgers for hopefully more than 4 snaps. Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, hopefully will look really good. And the defense, as I said, lock down. When you look on the other side to the Niners, this was an extremely complete team last year. They went far because of it. It's a very good team, obviously. They went very far because of it. With that being said, I do think that the Niners are going to win this game. Niners are just too good of a team. There still is some uncertainty with the Jets. If the Jets come out, overperform, and win, then I think everybody will be on that Jets hype train. 31-20 in favor of the Niners. Yeah, the better team. With that being said, that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.